We are long-term investors, so for us, quarterly reporting in and of itself doesn't change much. You look at our portfolios, they have 5–10% yearly turnover, so nothing changes on a quarterly basis. So I think it's not a bad idea, but we have to make sure that we maintain the level of corporate transparency that has been the hallmark of the U.S. capital markets for a long period of time. So that's something that needs to be weighed in as well.
Do you agree, Liz Ann? Corporate transparency every 6 months instead of every 3 months?
Well, I think it depends on the industry, depends on the company, and there's a lot of studying to do in terms of the impact it's likely to have on volatility, active versus passive. Is there an effect on multiples? You know, as a company at Charles Schwab, we quite some time ago moved away from the kind of defined quarterly guidance, and we do take a longer-term perspective, and that's what we discuss with our investors and the investment community. So we're sort of on board with the idea that short-termism has perils associated with it, but I'm not sure just quickly saying let's move from a 3-month to a 6-month is going to solve some of the problems that it intends to address. So I do think more work has to be done.
Krishna, what if I asked it this way? Would you like more information or less information from companies?
We would definitely like more information.
Okay.
But having said that, I think providing them the motivations to kind of invest for the long run, I think is very important. So if you look at U.S. corporate sector, the biggest challenge we have today is their ability to invest for the future. I think we should focus on all the things that can get that investment.
Why is it hard for them to do that?
Well, I think when you're kind of measured every day or every 30 days or every 60 days, I think that sort of has an impact on your mind, even if you don't admit to it.
So take a stand. You're a CEO, Liz Ann, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. You have to be able to stand up for what you do. And to remove this quarterly reporting, let me ask you, would you want more information or less information from a company?
Well, I'm not a CEO of a company, so I'm not in a position to certainly discuss that as it relates to Schwab. I think as investors, yes, there needs to be transparency and more information, but from a company's perspective, as well as their shareholders, if the decisions are being made purely to hit the number on a quarterly basis at the expense of long-term investments and long-term success of the company, which in turn relates to shareholder value as well as employment, et cetera, I think it's a trade-off. And I do understand the merits of discussing some of the perils of short-termism as it relates to if your sole goal is to try to make the number on a quarterly basis, what are the implications that has to long-term planning?